Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to Norland. So there was a patch, and so it seems like all of the tutorials have been reset, so these keep on popping up. But the first thing we're going to do in today's episode is we're going to go ahead and hire another warrior. Now this character here, you notice that he's got a little icon there. And that's to let us know that he has an infected wound. And yeah, we're going to have to go through all of these again, but that's okay. So this is our new warrior. You can see that he does have a deep injury and has become infected. We just used the medicine. And I want to say that the normal peasants might not do that. Because you notice he didn't go and get the medicine until after we made him into a warrior. And so by changing his job, we might have just saved his life. Did of course cost us one of our medicine. Until you're able to make your own medicine, that is something that is going to be an issue. So we might want to make sure we have a good supply. Maybe have Guthrum go back over there and trade with him for a second time. So we're going to go ahead and purchase, I don't know, maybe a 3 medicine. Because again, you do often need it when you do large battles, which we'll eventually have one. Might even be in today's episode. We'll have to deal with some bandits that will spawn on the world map. There's currently a bandit camp here in Lakehold. It does have 2 missions associated with it. There's one for army recruitment. 7 bandits with a combat skill 5 and without weapons will join your army. This will cause an issue with your neighbors, and we'll be happy that you're hiring bandits. And then one of the king's family, I think this is his sister-in-law. Yeah, she's married to his brother. She's been taken captive and she's being subjected to torture. And so you can pay the ransom of 676 or attempt to free the hostage by force. And we could actually do that. It's like we can go into his territory and attack that bandit camp, I think. I don't know if I've ever tried to take out a bandit camp in somebody else's territory, but one of those will spawn in our own lands, and then we'll have to deal with this. And it's 3 in the morning, and Ragnar and Aslaug should be sleeping, but you can see that they're on a date, despite the fact that she actually refused to go on a date with him. I guess she changed her mind when she got into a better mood. But they're going to be like super sleepy. In fact, we might want to go ahead. I know they're socializing. It might be a good idea to go ahead and force them to go to sleep. Or else they're going to be sleeping all day. Or they're just going to not get enough sleep because once the temple starts doing its morning service, there's a chance that might wake them up and they'll go over there and attend it. Now, we have seen that sometimes characters will sleep through the morning service, and that's not a good thing either, since it does result in them not getting that nice mood bonus for the day. And it seems that Aslaug has woken up, while Ragnar has decided to remain asleep. So based on your guys' suggestions, we're going to rename Mata to Helga. I have assigned her to manage a few buildings, and it seems that Helga has started to hate Aslaug, which another thing I need to do is fix the spelling here. That was just a mistake when I was typing it. I also wanted to note something regarding Guthrum's name. One person said that we should be pronouncing this as Guthrum. I had always heard it pronounced as Guthrum, despite the TH. Maybe that's incorrect, but I've been saying it for the whole episode, or for the whole series, and so we're going to stick with that. But let me know down in the comments whether that is supposed to be pronounced Guthrum or Guthrum. I've always heard it pronounced as Guthrum, but I could definitely be wrong there. But yeah, we saw that notification that Helga, our sister-in-law, is now hating our wife. That's because their opinion has gotten below 25, or I should say negative 25, so they're enemies. And a big part of that is she's envious of both her rings and the fact that she has a child already. So once she has a child of her own, that penalty will be removed. However, the biggest issue is because she's too well-mannered. And so this is primarily based off of the comparison between the 2 characters' manners. So her manners is so low, while Aslaug is at 13. And so that's the real issue there, which I think the reason why hers is so high is because she is inspired today. But it might still be an issue for them, because I believe her manners is normally 8. Overall, Helga is not in a good mood, so let's let her satisfy her desire to visit her brother. And that should make her pretty happy. So she'll spend some time with him. Of course, that'll require her to leave the settlement and then walk all the way over there and then walk all the way back. So she'll be gone for a while, but we did let her finish up her inspections for the day. Ragnar and Aslaug are both studying. We can see we did get an alliance proposal. So this is from Lakehold. They have an alliance with 2 other countries, the Dragonhorn in Sparkfall. And they are the head of the alliance, as we see here with the wings over their banner. And so that's why they're asking us to join them. And we're actually going to go ahead and just ignore that. Because if we were going to go the alliance route, rather than creating vassals, we would want to be the head of the alliance ourselves. It's not really any benefit of joining that alliance outside of, they would support us in a war if somebody attacked us. But for now, we're just going to focus on building up our own military and improving it. Thus, we should probably get access to the iron now. Let's go ahead and have that sent. So that way we'll have the 20 necessary in order to construct that training ground, which remember needs the 20 iron. And so one of the workers here will bring that iron over to us, and once that's here, we can get that started. We can see that we're making good progress on both of these, and that's because not only is Aslaug currently inspired, so is Ragnar. So clearly their early morning date improved their mood significantly, as it often does in real life, and so therefore they're inspired and they'll get through these a little bit faster, which is great because Ragnar has another book I'd like to have him read, and I'm sure there's something we can do at Aslaug as well, in addition to the fact that she's educating her daughter. So that iron has been brought to the warehouse, so let's go and construct the training ground. We're going to put it right behind the barracks here. Thinking right here would be good. Try and keep it on line with the warehouse. We should also start Aslaug up on researching the paper workshops. And rather than let her go to sleep while she's inspired, and frankly, she doesn't even really need to sleep that much, let's go ahead and stop her and have her study this book instead. So we can get a little bit of progress on that. And frankly, we don't want her sleeping this early. Now she finished up with the coal furnace. So taking a look at that, that's going to only require the 30 wood, so we can get that started now. One issue with the coal furnace is that it uses a lot of wood up. So we're going to want to limit how much we allow them to produce, at least until we get our lumber mills up and running. And we're just going to place this right here, right next to the training ground, since it'll be nice and close to the warehouse there. And we want to leave room here for another barracks. So we have the 2 sets of workers, so they should be able to start construction on both of those. We'll also have additional iron, since that is only going to take 20. So what we could do is upgrade one of our lumber mills now, since it requires the 5 iron. Aslaug's intelligence just increased to 11, and then of course we're getting that +5 for her being inspired, so it's 16 for today. So allowing us to research these paper workshops very quickly. We did finish up the training ground. Now this location is different from many other buildings because it's not the management skill that's important. Instead, it's the combat and command skill that matters. So we'll want to assign Ragnar to this, which means he will stop his research right before we get it finished, unfortunately. But we wouldn't have been able to get that constructed today anyways, just not enough time. So he can finish researching that later, as long as we get it done before the end of the day. And this will allow him to go over here and get the instructions done so that our warriors can start training and increasing their combat skill. We'll see if there's anybody else to hire. We have 2 level 3s, and I think we should hire both of those because unemployment is currently an issue. Now this will result in the average mood for warriors dropping quite a bit, so one of those might end up abandoning us. The day has ended. Unfortunately, the trader is rather skilled, and so I think we might avoid trading for today and just hope we get luckier tomorrow with a trader of less skill. There is a free lord that has arrived. I don't think we're going to be hiring her because you'll see she has this thought, joy of foolishness, and that's because of a trait that she has. She has mental impairment, so negative 50% of experience gained from learning with a constant positive thought. And so it's really not that bad for a free lord, considering the fact you're probably not going to have them doing the learning anyways, since they'll take all their knowledge with them when they leave, because I don't think we'd keep this character long term. So I suppose the main reason why I don't want to hire her is I'm looking for somebody with good combat skill. Somebody who can go hunting with Ragnar regularly, which he's got another date with Aslaug. Isn't she currently pregnant as well? She is. And not much longer before she won't be able to move. So this is basically a last chance date. But yeah, Sarkisa should be fine because of the good management skill. But again, I'm looking for somebody who has good combat skill. And then they would also be able to help Ragnar in any fights that we do. We're going to hire some additional warriors. So we have several people that are not happy. So we'll just go with these two here. I don't want to get too many level 2s. Since again, it's just best to get the level 3s if possible. And we have a pretty good warrior count right now at 7. And many of these need to be trained up. What we could also do is increase the amount of guards on the night patrol. Ragnar is currently going to talk to his brother, but I want him to finish this studying before it gets too late. So let's have him go study the scaffold. And then we could also set his brother up to start studying as well. Since Aslaug is going to be busy for the next day. Just taking care of herself. And this last day of her pregnancy. Ragnar has finished learning the scaffold, and so we're going to get that constructed. It only requires a 20 wood, but we'll take our 5 iron, which is what I was saving that for, because I did figure we'd get it done today. And this is why I left this spot open right here, because this is where we're going to place the scaffold. Left a little bit more space than we needed, but that's fine. So as expected, some of our warriors did desert the city. So now we're down to just 6, and Helga completed her task. So she's going to be on the world map returning. That'll take her about 5 hours. So we're beginning a new day, and you'll see that Ragnar has gained a new trait, Contemptuous. And that is because of how long he's held a lot of rings. So a 30% chance that the character will choose to ignore others during conversations. And the cause is because he's a longtime owner of a large number of holy rings. And so you can see how you can get traits based on things that are happening in your game. It'll change the personality of your characters. Our builders just finished the construction of the coal furnace, so we'll need to appoint a manager. And you know what, we're going to go ahead and appoint Helga to this role, since she's not really managing much. Aslaug isn't either, and she is a bit better at management, but she has a lot of other tasks that she needs to do, and she also can't do anything today, since she is going to be giving birth very soon. I think it's going to be tonight. So we need to set up the production of our coal. And like I said, we're not going to produce too much of this simply due to the fact that it requires so much wood. So let's just do 20 since that's what we need for the tools. Remember, we do not have the workshop up and running yet, and that's largely due to the fact that we don't have any iron at the moment. The 5 iron that we have already needs to be used for the scaffold. So we'll let the mine produce a day's worth of iron, and then that'll allow us to turn on the workshop tomorrow and start producing daggers and tools. And then let's go and set up a few other things for them to work on. I had said I wanted to get a market and a tavern that would be specifically for the warriors. I want to put that right over in this area. Before we do that though, let's go ahead and construct another barracks. I know we don't have the iron for this, but I want to at least get it placed here. So we'll know where we can place the market without causing any issues. So place that there, and then the tavern, if I can fit it, we'll put it right below it, which it looks like it would cause issues with this here. We could move the lumber mill again, and I think we will. So we can either have them move further south to take out these trees, or continue to work on these ones over here. I guess we'll move it right here for now. And then that'll allow us to go ahead and get the tavern right under this. Like right there. We're getting our tribute today. All right, excellent. Not that we need more rutabagas, but that will allow us to get more moonshine, and I'm hoping that we can start trading that moonshine. Ragnar unfortunately has decided to pay for sex from a peasant. Again, that causes several issues. First, it's going to require him to spend holy rings, but most importantly, his wife is not going to be too pleased about that. It will be considered cheating, so it's a sin, really a grievous sin as well, so not like the cruel joke. And Aslaug may come to hate him, which would be understandable. She's over here pregnant, about to give birth in just a few hours, and he's off with another woman. And so I'm going to see if I can't stop him from doing this. You might have noticed that I've been giving direct orders throughout the episode. To do that, you just left click on any other order that they have here. So I'm going to see if I can't get them to do the inspection queue. Probably not going to work. Again, they have a mind of their own. I could also try giving him an order, such as telling him to go flesh wolf hunting with his sister-in-law. Again, I know this is risky. since last time this didn't go so well for the sister-in-law. Now she does have a slightly higher combat skill at 4, and there's a reason for us to do this besides just getting meat and improving our combat skill. Remember, we need to improve her opinion of us so that her loyalty will stay high. So that notification up there was that Helga is talking smack about our wife, and so that will reduce Ragnar's opinion of Aslaug. -11 due to the dirty rumors. So when characters are rivals and don't like each other, they'll talk bad about the person they don't like to others, reducing their opinion. Now you see there's actually 2 animals here, and so that could cause an issue if this one decides to get aggressive. I have noticed that they changed the way the fights work, where the characters actually work together to do the hunt, where before it seemed like one character would just stand there while the other one did all the fighting. And that might be why they were becoming more risky. And so they did improve that. Now they both fight. And it seems that Helga was injured. She got 5 bruises, so it's not a real bad injury. So that successful hunt will improve Helga's opinion of Ragnar. Well, 17, so they're now considered friends, which is good. That'll increase the loyalty. One of our buildings needs a manager. This one over here, the scaffold. And we're going to assign Ragnar to manage this, because I don't know that management skill has any effect for the scaffold. You see, the questioning of witness will last 30 minutes regardless of who's doing it, so I'm not entirely sure it has any effect. And so let's have Ragnar manage this, and it'll provide jobs for all of our unemployed residents, and so hopefully we'll get more migrants because of it. Currently getting that barracks constructed, and then they'll do the market and the tavern, which again, those are going to be restricted to warriors. And so this one here will only be for the peasants, and that'll allow us to make sure our warriors get the best food and drink available, so that they can have really high opinions and hopefully won't abandon us any longer. And so it'll actually feel like becoming a warrior is an upgrade in your status here in the society, because not only are you getting more money, you'll also be able to purchase the better food. Let's go ahead and have Ragnar do that inspection, so they can start working before the day ends here, and I can show you how the scaffold works. So let him do that inspection there. And then let's go ahead and get this market set up to only sell to the warriors. And they can purchase anything but meat. We're going to restrict the meat to our own lord, since we don't have a means for providing meat outside of hunting. And then this here will be restricted to the peasants. And for now, they're only going to be allowed to buy the rutabagas until we have a better supply of the flour. And frankly, we have a ton of rutabagas. So let's go and take a look at the scaffold and how this works. So you can see our daily statistics here, how many crimes have been committed, how many punishments have been doled out, and how many of the criminals we have intimidated. Here's where we set the type of punishment that we're going to be using. We start out with the Mask of Shame. The character wears a Mask of Shame for a day, and other characters in a bad mood can freely beat them. And so you'll see a lot of fights get started because of this. This is a fairly effective punishment, since vagabonds will return to being a peasant. And it also doesn't cause characters to become cutthroats, which is one of the effects of some of the other types of punishment, such as the execution. This might result in some of the onlooking vagabonds deciding to become cutthroats. And that's similar with the imprisonment. And that's of course where you make them a prisoner. We don't have the building for that just yet. That's something we're going to want to get constructed. The other option is blindness. This one, like the Mask of Shame, does not have that negative effect of vagabonds becoming cutthroats, but it does result in characters becoming blind, and so that has its penalties. And the Mask of Shame has its penalties as well, since it results in a lot of injuries, which might be using up your medicine if they get infected. Now generally they use their fist in those fights, but yeah, it does result in a lot of injuries and the problems that could cause. These are executioners. This is where one of the locations where you can see the localization has not been completed. Ragnar just increased his management to level 2, and here's the information on terror, which is the other option you might have noticed here, whether you're committing terror or not. On the default setting, executioners can only punish somebody who has been caught committing a crime. However, you can change the setting. If you go with all, then the scaffold is assigned to state terror, and executioners begin to undertake without evidence the punishment of various individuals, starting with the vagabonds, then the unemployed, and finally just ordinary peasants. Now you can specify certain cultures if you want. So let's say we wanted to discriminate against the 11 Varn peasants we have. They'll begin to drag members of the Varn culture to the scaffold and punish them just based on whatever punishment you have set. And so you can target specific cultures. You can see the effects of that here, with the main ones being that it will deter migrants of that culture and subjects of the rival culture. So in the case of the Varn, the Kaidens, they're going to be pleased that they're being repressed. You can also specifically terrorize religious fanatics, and this results in a strong negative thought among all peasants because no one feels safe. However, unhappy peasants will not become vagabonds, and vagabonds will not become cutthroats. So that's important building for interacting with your peasants and the criminal system. And so once he finishes doing that, we'll see these executioners go to work, trying to catch anybody committing crimes. Now you can see that the bishop has decided to pay this lumberjack here for sex. You also notice our warriors hard at work over here, improving their combat skills. And you see we already have 2 level 4, and I think one of these guys was level 1 and improved to level 3. We'll wait to hire any more warriors for now. Try and get the mood up first. And so now that he has paid the peasant, he'll have 1 less holy ring, and you'll see how it affects his mood after they're done. So you'll see that the bishop's getting a -5 from lowering myself to have sex with a peasant. And then the peasant here, should be coming around the building here, I think he's going to get his wages at the moment. He's getting a huge -14 from having sex for money. So overall, it's a negative. Obviously, it's costing holy ring, so it's one reason why you want to make sure that all your characters are married. There's not much you can do for the bishop, though. The trader has arrived, so let's go and set up Guthrum to trade with him. And it looks like we did have another child, and this time we had a son, so we're going to name him Sigurd. Looking at his personality traits, he's beautiful. That's the one that he got from his mom, and then lustful from his father. So not exactly the traits I would have selected for him to get, but it's fine. We can see that his skills are 1 in manner, trade, persuasion, and management. He does not have any talents, unfortunately. Because we need Ragnar and Aslaug to study right now, we're going to have Helga educate him with a general training, just for the moment. Now we cannot have Odin do this because we need to improve his relationship with our king. So let's go and have her work on that. And we're also going to stop our wife from educating Brunhilde for now, so she can focus on researching, which we also need to assign Ragnar to go ahead and research the command book. So that'll improve his command skill by at least 1 point, if not 2. Let me just take a look and see how much experience he needs. I'm always clicking on this one when I mean to click on this one. So he needs 10 experience points to reach the next level, so that will only get him to command 11. So Guthrum is going to go trade. And this trader is unfortunately a level 6, but it's better than the one we had yesterday, and we haven't traded for a while. So we're going to go ahead and engage with trade here. Sell some of our moonshine. Let's go and also trade some of our hops because we see that that's still at a good price. However, we're about to hit the cap before market saturation. So we need to be careful how much we're selling this for as we go above it. We want to make sure we're still getting the 7. And once we go to 6, there we go, then we'll just stop selling. Let's go and use that money to purchase some new weapons. We will not get any bows because we'll be able to construct those ourselves soon. Same with the daggers. We'll purchase a mace and perhaps a shield. Maybe get a couple maces and a couple shields. And then we also need to purchase another book. We're going to get the pig farm. It's kind of expensive, but we got a bit of spare money here. I think that looks pretty good. I don't want to purchase too much with this particular trader because we might be able to find a cheaper trader later on. Or one that we get a better deal with, I should say. Alright, so this is the event that we've been waiting on, for the forest bandits to form in our lands. So we'll see them on the world map over here, and we'll have to engage those. Currently there's 6 bandits, so we're not ready to fight them just yet. We're going to continue to train up our troops, get their combat skill higher. We're going to do that today, and then we'll also be setting up the workshop today. We can go and appoint a manager, which will be Guthrum. We should also make some adjustments when it comes to our finances because our warriors can't actually buy flour and beer in one day. And so since we're only selling the flour to the warriors, let's go and reduce the cost of that and then increase their wages by a little bit. And so with that, they won't be able to get beer and flour every day, but maybe every other day. And that should help improve their mood. Of course, it does cost us a lot more, but remember, we get all that money back as they buy our trade goods. So we see that cutthroats are breaking into Ragnar's house. And so our warriors have already engaged that character. I think while he was sleeping, he was going to steal from him. And that's why we want to have the night patrol set up in a way that it covers all of the Lord's houses, as well as the hall. Because they'll try and steal from them. And so with this character dead, we will get his dagger. And so that's helpful. One of our soldiers might be able to use that. Let me see if our characters all have daggers. They do not. So Aslaug and Guthrum don't have daggers just yet. We're in the beginning of a new day. Our builders are going to work on the tavern, and we also want to get this workshop started up today. However, we don't have any available workers, so we're going to take one from the scaffold, and hopefully, they'll go over there so they can start using our available iron to start producing some stuff. So we can get some tools, which will allow us to get bows, and we can also start working on daggers. We'll get like 10 of those. It seems we do have 8 coal, and it seems Ragnar and Aslaug are both inspired. Right, excellent, since we have them both set up to study, and they'll get that bonus for the management as well, which they're all currently working on giving out their orders, doing their inspections. So the tavern has been constructed, so let's assign that to only be for warriors, and it'll sell everything but the flavorful ale, which we don't even have access to just yet. And so I'll allow our warriors to purchase as much beer as they want. And then we'll want to assign the tavern to only sell moonshine for now. Eventually we will allow regular peasants to purchase beer and the flour once we have a better supply of it, particularly the beer. Like, flour's not doing too bad. Our main issue there is that we need to improve the mill, which we don't have the iron for that, nor do we have the available workers. One thing we could do is pull the builders here, pull one builder, or even 2, so that they can go do some of these other jobs. Because we've got a ton of locations that can't get their necessary workers at the moment. So the day is just about wrapped up, and we just had an interesting development. Ragnar and Helga now have an upcoming date. So they've been talking a lot lately. And so yeah, they're about to go cheat on their spouse. We could of course stop that, but I think it's a natural development here, because they're talking all the time, and Helga is always talking bad about Aslaug. So it does seem that they're both going to be cheating on their spouse, which is, again, a very interesting development, considering the fact that Guthrum's last wife died while hunting with Ragnar. And so he got his first wife killed, or at least is blamed for that. And now he's having an affair with his second wife. It's pretty messed up. And so they've both been unfaithful. And you'll see that as a sin here. Eventually, once they finish, he will achieve his desire for intimacy. So I guess there's that. But yeah, that'll be a sin. And then it's going to severely impact the relationship here. Which I think they're currently set up to have a date today as well. Yeah, Aslaug and Ragnar are supposed to have a date. So he's going to sleep with 2 women. But I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't happen once she reacts to this. Because yeah, they got to finish before the reaction actually happens. We also have a world event. Greenspire has demanded that we eliminate that bandit camp. And so remember, Greenspire is our neighbor here. They're Varn. And so we'll get a penalty with them if we don't eliminate that bandit camp soon. So Ragnar is going from one woman to the other. She suspects him of infidelity, but didn't catch him. So there is a difference there. But it does result in a huge opinion penalty, -25. Not as bad if she knew for sure, if she had caught him in the act. But he he knows himself, so he does have that forbidden sex sin. And that will impact the bishop in his opinion of us due to all our sins. And if we wanted to confess, it only costs us 3. So I think it would be worth it doing that. Because remember, our character is a fanatic. And so we're getting a -9 from this, on top of the -9 we're getting from shame. So you know what, before he goes study, let's go ahead and have him confess to the bishop. We also want to improve the bishop's opinion. Yeah, Helga's getting all those same problems. You know, the shame for the sins and from her infidelity. She can also confess, but she doesn't really have the spare holy rings. She is a fanatic though, so she would want to, but basically we'd be getting rid of this penalty just to get another penalty, since she doesn't have enough holy rings, since I do want to have at least 5. There is a free lord we can hire, and although this character's not exactly good at combat, I think we might hire him anyway, since we're going to be going to battle soon. That'll be next episode, I believe. So let's go ahead and hire him. This will be for 10 days, and we will get a discount based on our persuasion level. This is a good day to do it since Ragnar is inspired. And so it's only going to cost us the 6 holy rings. It's a 50% discount on your first hire. So yeah, let's go ahead and hire him. And so after we pay the 3 there, we're at 29. And then after this 6, it'll leave us at 23. So we're no longer going to have that nice bonus from having the 25. But we can go ahead and contact the trader who has a very low trading skill. So let's have Guthrum go over there and see what all we want to purchase. This would be a good day to spend a good chunk of money. So hops and rye are both selling at a higher price. We're going to sell a little bit of that. Try not to go too far above the market saturation for the hops. And I don't want to sell too much of the rye. And we're also going to sell some rutabaga just because we have so much of it. And you don't get much for it. But again, we're very stacked on it. And I'm trying to reduce how much we're going to be paying here because we have to pay our tax on warriors. And then we're going to get 4 books. The Herbalist, Flavorful Ale. So these two play into each other. You need this one before you can really work on this one. And then we're also going to get the Armor Forge. That'll allow us to construct the shields, light armor, and heavy armor. We're also going to get the Loyalty Basics, increasing the likelihood of loyalists. It's going to double it. And then we're going to get 2 Holy Rings. So just get us back up to 25 once we give out those 6 to get that free lord. So it's going to cost us $3.99. And I want to make sure we did a lot of trading while we had a cruddier trader here. Got ourselves a ton of books. And so we shouldn't need to trade for a while. So if we have a few days where the traders are very high level, then it won't impact us too much. So we hired Thorsten. We're going to keep his name as is. So he's a free lord with very good intelligence, management, and teaching. So what we might want to do is go ahead and assign him to educate our son for now. Just again, he's a little bit better overall with the teaching skill. And since we also got our opinion high enough of Odin that he could be used for teaching, so we could have him teach our daughter, just while Ragnar and Aslaug currently work on researching. So we'll get both of them doing the education. They're also better than their parents are. One negative of having somebody else teach your kids, though, is that they can get this negative modifier here, lack of parental attention. Now, you don't have to teach them to get rid of that, but if they're doing other things like researching, then they're not spending time with the kids. And so by educating them, you can make sure that the parents and their children get a bit of time together. So we got our first prophecy. These are predictions from the church that always come true. They're basically notifications, kind of warnings to let you know that this is going to be happening soon. So in this case, it's a crop infection. Rye will be infected by parasitic fungus that destroys the crops. And so our rye fields will be useless, unfortunately. And so you just want to like pull your workers from it during that time. Which I was thinking about constructing another rye field. Now it's going to take a while before that takes effect. And also we don't really have the workers for it at the moment. Because we need to construct a paper workshop. Because we just got that. And so we're going to go ahead and do that now. And we're going to put it right here. It's kind of fitting it all into the same spaces. You could certainly build in a more pleasant looking manner, I suppose. Eventually you'd want pathways going through all this territory. But one advantage of keeping them all nice and close is it's less walking. But yeah, we'd want like paths going down these little areas, and those would be just one tile paths, with like our main road here just being the only large one in the city. So here at the beginning of day 13, several of our characters did get some new desires. Guthrum wants to learn knowledge, so he'll complete that once he gets the chancellery, which should be today, and so that'll boost his mood. And Aslaug wants to write a book. So I don't know if we'll do that anytime soon, since we have a lot of stuff that we need to research. She did finish up her research, and so we're going to go and start her on the next one, which is going to be the pig farm. Since this is one that is going to be more challenging, we want our high intelligence character doing it, and that'll give us a use for our rutabagas, because the rutabagas can be given to the pigs. And once we do that, and we fix our flour problems, which improving this mill would help. Currently using all of our iron. I think we're using it here in the workshop, producing those tools and the daggers. We also need to get a lord's house constructed, since we now have a new lord. Even if he's a temporary one, he does want to have somewhere to live while he's here. So we want to get that started. Of course, that'll cost 5 iron as well that we don't have. The last thing we're going to do in today's episode is take a look at the world summary. So Greenspire has the event Conflict Between Neighbors. And so this is an interesting one where you need to pick between two different sides here. In this case, it's Greenspire and Lakehold, so very easy for us to decide which side we want to choose between. Basically, what's happened here is that the King of Greenspire, Ragnar, has found out that the King of Lakehold, Ronan, who's our friend, has been organizing terror against the peasants of their culture in the city, and he demands an immediate end to this. Now, Ronan believes that the governance of his own kingdom is a personal affair, and that the use of these extreme means were justified. Ragnar demands that you publicly declare your position in this dispute. So if we ignore the conflict, then we'll upset both of the countries. Supporting one side will give a plus 12 with the relationship and a negative 12 with the other side. It's fairly obvious what we're going to want to do here. We're going to want to support our friend Ronan. We do not care if we piss off Greenspire. We're just going to send a messenger to do this, so one of our peasants, rather than one of our characters here. I did forget to set up the production of paper, so let's have him produce just 10 for now, even though we don't currently have the tools. So in the next episode, we're going to be going to battle for the first time. We're going to attack this bandit camp over here. The only thing I've been waiting on is to get the command volume 1 done. So Ragnar's command skill will be a little bit higher, and thus our troops will perform better. This is also giving us the opportunity to produce more weapons, more bows in particular, so that our soldiers will be better equipped, and they're also training, so getting their combat skill up. We might have to hire some mercenaries, because otherwise we're never going to get our troop numbers up to where we want them. Plus those don't get the penalties that the unhappy peasants do, where you get the fear of death. And so that'll get us up to 7. So I'm thinking tomorrow, or whenever we get those 2 warriors, is when we would attack that encampment. Let's go and have Thorsten manage this, because he's got very good management skill. So he'll take over the paper workshop. Might want to assign some of Guthrum's tasks to Thorsten as well, since his management is almost as high as Guthrum, and certainly higher than some of our other characters. Yes, I never finished looking at the world summary. We also finished the chancellery, so that appeased Guthrum and his desire, since he wanted to learn something new. So I have to get him assigned something else, because we have a lot of things that we need to research. We'll have him study the herbalist. Now, as far as the chancellery goes, we're going to want to wait to get that until after we have a more reliable source of paper, since that does require paper, until Guthrum gets his management skill up to 15, so he'll get the sharp tongue talent. And so that's really helpful, since you don't need paper for the running of the chancellery, and he's almost to 14. So back to the world summary, just take a look at these few events and other locations. So Dragonhorn has a lord who's ready to leave, so you can hire this character if you want, invite him to your lands. This is one easy way to get spouses, because the character will actually join your noble house, rather than just being a free lord, in which case you'd have to get their opinion up in order to invite them to join your house. Now in our case, we're going to leave this spot open. The other notification that we've seen here is that Brightvale was conquered by Misthaven. So they used to be in an alliance together, and then Bright Veil left that alliance, and now Misthaven has decided to conquer them and turn them into a vassal. So our enemies up here have gotten even more powerful. So it's something we're going to have to deal with in the future. So I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did, make sure you like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. We hope to see you guys on the next one. And thanks for watching.